All right, so what do we know about square roots? We know that we cannot have the restrictions on a square root are any value in here could be 0 or greater than 0, right? So from 0, if we were to put this, could include 0, but then it goes to basically infinity. So no negative values for that, right? So, we could solve this and get to roots, but how does that help us? If we would think visually about this as a function, so if we said, okay, well this value, let's call it y. Y is equal to, okay, x squared minus 3x minus 10. Okay, and if we just sketch the way that that graph would look as something like this, right? Something like that, okay? Now, I don't know what it looks like yet, but, I mean, if we had a graph like this, if this was the x axis, okay, then it would really not, there's really no possible values for x that would give us a negative, right? But let's say we had another scenario where it was like this. Let's say this is our x axis. Okay, so if the graph was to look like that, and we haven't even looked at it yet, but let's do that. Then we would say, okay, well these values down here, these are less than 0, so we can't include those. We could include at the intercepts, okay? And then there, so when do we get values that are positive inside the square root? Well, okay, let's just figure out, if we know what these roots are, we could do that, right? Let's do that. So we say 0 equals x squared minus 3x minus 10. Okay, can I factor that? Well, I think so. So let's try to do that. So we have x, oh yeah, product, because the factors 5 and 2. So minus 5 and then pull x plus 2. Okay, this is pretty good. So the roots that we have are going to be 5 and negative 2. Okay. So let's go back to this one here. Let's say this is negative 2, and then this is 5, okay? So we can have values, this is our y, let's say somewhere right here is our y-axis. Okay. I'm going to get rid of the red line because our scenario looks more like the green one, okay? We don't have to be detailed about the vertex or anything like that because we're trying to express the values for x that will give us a positive inside of this square root, okay? Now, we know that if we would go negative 3, negative forever, we're always going to have positive values. And then if we have 5 or beyond that, we're also going to have positive values for y, okay? So I guess we just need to wrap this up and say, like, okay, what values work for x? Okay, so we can say, I guess if I'm expressing it in interval notation, I could say, well, it goes from negative infinity, right, to negative 2, and we're including that value, right? And then it's the union of, and we include 5, and then we go to infinity here, right? Or I can say x is such that x is less than or equal to negative 2, or x is greater than or equal to 5. Okay, so that really explains it. I think graphically you can see why that's true. So what are those values going to work? So we did use the roots, and then really the graph kind of helps us interpret what values will give us positives here.